What is Donald Trump's One Big Beautiful Tax Bill? What does it promise? Explained. Republicans have passed a sweeping tax and spending bill, which Donald Trump called it One Big Beautiful Bill and is officially titled the One Big Beautiful Bill Act of 2025 (OBBA). The more than 1,000-page bill now heads to the Senate, which will have the chance to approve or make changes to it before it reaches Trump. What's in the legislation that was passed by the House? Let us look at the key provisions of the bill. Tax cuts. The legislation focuses on the provisions extending Trump's 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. With the cuts slated at this year's end, the extension and new tax cuts have been a key priority for congressional Republicans in the White House. Beyond the 2017 tax cuts, the legislation includes no taxes on tips for workers in the service industry, such as at restaurants and bars. But this exemption will expire at the end of 2028. The package also includes no taxes on overtime. And the new legislation would allow tax deductions on up to $10,000 in interest on auto loans for cars assembled in the U.S. This provision would be in place until 2029. The bill would also eliminate a long-standing $200 tax on gun silencers, which has been on the books since Congress passed the National Firearms Act in 1934. There is also a provision for a temporary increase of $500 in child tax credit, bringing it to $2,500 through 2028. The package also includes a tax on remittances, imposing a tax on cash payments sent by non-U.S. citizens to family members in their home countries. Medicaid curbs. Medicaid is a popular entitlement program that provides government-sponsored health care for low-income Americans. It imposes work requirements for able-bodied adults without children, more frequent eligibility checks, cutting federal funds to states that use Medicaid infrastructure to provide health care coverage to undocumented immigrants, and banning Medicaid from covering gender transition services for children and adults. The implementation of work requirements will begin from December 2026. The work requirements would apply to Medicaid recipients without disabilities between the ages of 18 and 65, and those who do not have a child under the age of 7. Increase in state and local tax deduction. The package has an increase in the cap on the state and local tax deduction, which was imposed by the 2017 Trump tax law and currently stands at $10,000. In the new bill, House Republicans have raised the SALT limit to $40,000 for married couples with incomes up to $500,000. SNAP benefits reforms have also been added to the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program (SNAP), used by over 40 million low-income Americans. The new bill requires states to contribute more to the program, which is also partially funded by the federal government. Savings accounts for children. The legislation creates 1,000 savings accounts for children, which were originally titled Mega Accounts, Money Accounts for Growth and Advancement. The name has been updated to Trump Accounts. Under the plan, the federal government will contribute 1,000 to the accounts of children born between 2024 and 2028. Parents can contribute up to $5,000 a year. The funds, which can begin to be distributed once the child turns 18, can be used for higher education, job training, and the purchase of their first home. Border security funding. The legislation also includes resources for border security and defense. Among the bill's provisions is $46.5 billion for the border wall, $4.1 billion to hire Border Patrol agents and other personnel, and more than $2 billion for signing and retention bonuses for Border Patrol agents. It also includes an additional $1,000 fee for people who are filing for asylum in the U.S. It has an additional $12 billion for expenses related to border security. What next? The Senate must approve the bill, and if that happens, it will return to the House for another high-stakes vote. Trump is urging the Senate to get on board. It's time for our friends in the United States Senate to get to work, and send this bill to my desk as soon as possible. The president wrote on social media on Thursday. Swipe left for next video. With the deadline to address the debt limit around the corner, the legislation would raise the debt ceiling to $4 trillion. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has urged the Congress to address the debt limit by July, warning that the U.S. could be unable to pay the bills as soon as August without action. Meanwhile, Democrats, who are not in majority in the House, have criticized the bill on provisions related to Medicaid and SNAP. Latest blogs.